we're gonna get started. I'm gonna introduce our panel today. I will ask, so we have one mic, so they're probably gonna have to project their voices so we can keep conversation down and just listen. And we are gonna have a question and answer portion after we wrap the chat. So you guys will get a chance to ask as many questions as you like. Okay, so starting first, I'm gonna go with Jermaine Hampton. Former NFL player, NFL PA, and NFL alumni member, football coach, and defensive back specialist. He is also the 2024 Scouting Combine coach. And he also knows some other stuff that he wants to tell you about. Hold on.
How everybody doing? All right, my name is Jermaine Hampton, like she said. Currently what I'm doing right now, I'm working in the AFL. I don't know if a lot of people know that. That's indoor arena football. I'm with the Philadelphia Soul. I'm an assistant head coach and defensive coordinator and secondary coach. I also worked with the Iowa Bombstormers for a couple years in the IFL. So I'm a coach, scout, and I recruit. So for guys that's in high school, I also mentor guys and I help guys try to get on the college level. And if you're a guy that's coming out of college, I'm trying to find a spot playing professional ball. If it's not in the NFL, the CFL, the UFL now, or the indoor ball. That's about it.
Thank you. No, I mean, you guys on TikTok, but you know about indoor arena football, the Reese Tisa story. Okay, next we have Jarrell McNeil, head coach of Nike Main Street, EYBL 17U, Marquette Basketball Hall of Famer, former European and NBA pro, 12-year professional, college basketball contributor, and field of 68 podcast, Sirius XM Radio. Next, we have Brandon Lenore, high school athletic director at Urban Prep, a father of 3 full scholarship recipients, student athletes. Next, we have Michelle Askew. Michelle has practiced law for nearly 30 years. She currently practices with the Franklin firm and provides legal services in the areas of corporate law and sports, including NIL. Michelle began her career in sports as Associate General Counsel with USA Basketball. She has also worked with the United States Olympic Committee and Disney's Wide World of Sports. She has spoken and moderated on several panel discussions, including the Black Entertainment and Sports Lawyers Association. As a native of Chicago, Michelle graduated from Florida A&M University, magna cum laude, with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, and received her Juris Doctor from the University of Michigan Law. She has served on numerous nonprofit boards and is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Okay, so we have 2 spots left. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce, and I want to give him his flowers, so just walk with me here. Toriano is a 23-year-old native of Chicago, Illinois. He grew up playing youth sports and began to excel in football at a young age, where he played in the Chicago Blitz Youth Football Organization. He went on to play at St. Lawrence High School in Burbank. While at St. Lawrence, Toriano excelled academically and was an All-American on the field, which prompted the University of Indianapolis, a top 10 ranked Division II program, to offer him a full ride scholarship to play for the program. Do y'all want to hear about his stats? Y'all want to hear about his stats? Yeah. Okay. So while at Indy, Toriano, and disclaimer, I don't know a lot of sports lingo, so just work with me, okay? Stop. While at UIndy, Toriano amassed over 4,500 yards rushing, 55 rushing touchdowns, and averaged nearly 8.0 yards per carry. Toriano currently holds the school record in rushing touchdowns, yards per carry, kick return yard average, yards per game, the single season rushing record, and the all-time leading rushing record. Can we give him a clap? I'm not done. He is also NCAA Division II record holder for the most yards in a single quarter. He is a 6-time Conference Player of the Week, a 3-time Division II Football National Player of the Week, a 2-time Division II Elite 100 lister, a 2-time college All-American athlete. This is a lot. And a 3-time college academic All-American. Toriano graduated from the University of Indianapolis with a BS in sports management, and in his final semester, he was signed with the Indianapolis Colts last summer. Although being released during preseason this fall, Toriano has high expectations of returning to the NFL. Let's welcome. And last but not least, I have to introduce our moderator for the evening, Mr. Kiss Allen Glover, affectionately known, I need you ready to clap, affectionately known as Mr. Energetic, and you'll soon see why. He has an undeniable talent for captivating his audience. His dynamic approach ensures that everyone is not just present, but actively involved. Currently, as the Dynamic Dean of Enrollment Management at Olive Garden College, Kiss Allen is crafting innovative recruitment strategies that aim to boost both enrollment and engagement at the college. His reputation for excellence now precedes him, making waves amongst students and educational leaders across the nation. A devoted brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Kiss Allen brings not just his expertise, but also his heart to the stage. Let's welcome Kiss Allen. And before he sits, I want everyone to know Kiss Allen also has a clothing brand. I'm sporting down rocking it tonight. Kissisms. It comes with a cute little note, one of his little kissisms. Trust me, you'll see. And you can ask him, is Kiss Allen his real name? It is. I wouldn't know.
Thank you so much. Y'all give her a hand for that. She was over there introducing me, and until she said my name, I was wondering who she was talking about. Before we get started with this dynamic panel, I want to make sure I understand who I have in the room. So I want everyone to look up here at me. Do what I say, not necessarily what I do. I want everybody to put their right hand in the air. It's kind of silly, but put your right hand in the air and make a fist and ball it up, right? Panelists, you do what you now. Roll it around in a circle. Come on, roll it around. Get the energy going. Now I want everybody in here to put their fists on their chin. Now I ask you to put your fists on your chin.
Right, I wasn't sure. I'm here.
I saw you back there. I saw. It's silly, but I do that around intentionality. We're innately wired to do what we see others do. It just comes natural. And so as we go through this evening's conversation, you student athletes, you parents, this is really about blazing your own path. You're gonna hear some remarkable stories. We're gonna get to the root of it, but at the end of the day, the charge is that you take the road less traveled, because your path is the one that's gonna give you the most love and energy and completeness. All right, enough of the silliest, let's move on. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Court Press presents a Fireside Chat, the student athlete experience. It's all about engaging discussion on the multifaceted world of the student athlete. As mentioned, we have Mr. Jermaine Hampton, Jarrell McNeil, Brandon Lenore, Toriano Clinton, and the Mrs. Michelle Askew. Welcome, you guys. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm gonna get started with a few questions, and y'all excuse me, because we're in the enrollment period, and I've been at it all day. I'll start with you, Mr. Toriano, and I think this is extremely important, right? We have a bunch of Hall of Famers and made individuals who are still going through and learning and growing, and then we have future superstars and future entertainers and pro athletes. I'll start with you, right? First of all, congratulations. I watch all your accomplishments on the internet, and you a wild boy. You getting it done. Can you describe, with so many student athletes in the room, can you describe a day in the life of a student athlete during the season? And that balance, right? Because you finished up your degree. That balance of academic and athletics.
Yeah, so first off, it's not easy. I think a lot of student athletes get kind of like misunderstood, because it's like you're a kid, what you're doing, the way you carry in your everyday life is like an adult, especially in a student athlete's life. You have school, you have practice. Practice is more than just going out on the field and, throwing the ball around, running around. You got practice, which is actually physically, you have weight training, you have study hall. So all those things kind of, they all kind of play together in a role. Not to mention, throughout this day, you basically working like it's a full job. Honestly, it really is a full job. And once you get to the college level, there's some people who are doing that and still working an actual job. So I'm still trying to maintain their social balance, which is not an easy thing to do. Being a student athlete really is perseverance, in my opinion. It's a lot of fighting. You gotta really want it because there's a lot of things that get in your way telling you not to go get it. So you gotta wake up. You gotta make sure you're eating right. You gotta make sure you go to weight training. You gotta make sure you're waiting for the training, or you're getting cussed out by coaches. You got practice. You got school, and whatever else you got going on in your social life. So all those things play a role in the student athlete's life. And if you're a parent, be a little more lenient on the kids because it really is a lot for real.
That's what's up. I think sometimes we, in particular in social media, we see the finished product. And so questions like that lend into understanding that there's way more that goes into being a superstar, right? Miss Askew, I'd come to you. Right now, NIL is a hot topic. And I'd ask, as a student athlete, for some of the student athletes, what are some of the things that they can begin to do now from a social media perspective as they build their brand? What are some of the behaviors that they can create at a young age that'll help them as they ascend into the space of garnering an NIL deal?
Keeping yourself positive, staying out of trouble, increasing the number of followers you have, regardless of what platform it's on, if it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Also, watch what you say, because it can come back and bite you years and years later. It's happened with students, you've seen it with entertainers, politicians. If you have a controversial opinion, maybe keep it to yourself. If you're doing something that someone may find offensive, let's not do that. Because one athlete with whom I worked, he decided he wanted to smoke marijuana. He did not know he was being photographed by a quote-unquote friend. Now, what you do in your private life is fine, but also, as I've told people, everybody that's friendly is not a friend. So you need to also make sure that the persons with whom you associate are not into foul, negative, or illegal activities as well. So I guess the long and short of it is, if you want to be signed by more companies and make more money, you need to be your best self. And if that's the best athlete, the best student, that's what you need to do, and you need to appeal to the respective marketers.
Excellent, that's a good one. I'm gonna piggyback down to my man Jermaine Hampton. I want us to think back. I want us to go back, former NFL player. I want us to go back. What would NIL have meant during, what would NIL have meant during your days of your recruitment process and so forth?
You said as far as me recruiting?
No, as far as your recruiting, yes.
Okay. Now, as far as me recruiting with an NIL deal, you can pass me that. Gotcha. I would say it'll be real crazy because you got guys that making money on the college level. Just like when I played, I think me and Toriano just talked about this a few minutes ago. And when I played at NIU, I was probably one of the best guys on defense. You know, the college was making a lot of money on us and everything, and we weren't getting paid a little bit of nothing. Like the scholarship money that we got, if you stayed outside of the dorms, your money was already gone. Okay. But as far as the NIL deal today, as far as with players now today, and me recruiting them, as a coach, we always look at their character. That's number one. We gotta see what type of kid we dealing with. We don't want no knucklehead. We don't want no cancer kid. That's something you gotta deal with these kids on the NIL deal now these days, because they're making money. Like right away, and they're making money more than what the coach is making. So that's number one, the character. The number two thing is, you know, their skill set, you know, how they play, what we looking for as far as what I'm looking for is as far as what position guy that I'm looking at, if it's a skilled guy, DB, a receiver, or something like that. But that's about it. I think it would be, more with me, be with the character. Because we're dealing with kids that got money now. They're making money on the college level, which they might not even make it to the pros because they're making the money right now and they really don't have nobody mentoring them and kind of helping them manage the finances and doing what they're doing on the college level.
Okay. I just want to add something to that with respect to what he was saying in terms of character. Even if you have that NIL deal, you are out of character, again, doing something negative or something that the marketer doesn't like, your agreement can be terminated immediately. No day, no 3 days, 5 days, it's terminated immediately. And that's in their discretion. So, and then I had another point. With respect to the NIL, it's here in Illinois, it's not exclusive to college students.
Right.
High school students are eligible for NIL as well. A lot of states, maybe 18 or so, unfortunately, their high school students can't make money off their name, image, or likeness. But here in Illinois, you can.
Excellent.
I wanted to add something. Please. Just in respect to high school students, you have to make sure that the deals or the opportunities align with your core values as well. People will offer you money because you have a lot of followers for whatever reason it may be, but it has to align with your values so that you can continue to make money and have larger deals once you get into college and beyond. It just can't be associated with, oh, this is what my people like. It has to align with your values, and parents, you need to make sure that that's something that you monitor as well. Because just like she said, it can shut it off immediately and it can stop future opportunities. So please make sure that the things that you are accepting, the things that you're looking for, aligns directly with your value, because because people will come at you just because your team is winning. And then they, check your page, this, that, and the other. Oh, he got 50,000 followers for kicking it. But now that I want to pay you for to be an influencer or a brand ambassador or whatever have you, some of those things may have to change when you present it for someone else.
Excellent. There were 2 points I want to make. I know when you were talking, Jermaine, you kind of gave the rundown of things that you're looking for. Where does parents, if you could, Jarrell, where does parents, as the leader of Main Street, one of the top national AAU programs, where does parents play a role when you're looking at a kid? What role does a parent play in you choosing that kid?
And I'll start by saying this, just like he said with the lead in, I'm dealing with this on an everyday basis. So this is a point that's pretty close to my heart, but it's a major factor. It's a major factor, and like you alluded to, it's not just with me. I got the person that holds the position that I hold has a certain level of power. The EYBL circuit is one of the most powerful circuits in terms of basketball. It's bar none's #1 in the country. Over, I think, 40 or 50% of the NBA are former EYBL guys at this point. So it's a fast track for getting guys from high school into college, and usually the same guys that we see in their last year of the EYBL circuit, you see them in another year and a half on draft night. That's just how it goes. But I'll say this, the parent side, it's very important because, look, I deal with it, and a lot of the times I'm not like your college coach. If a guy's good enough, you will put up with some stuff from parents, but at the same time, if it's gonna burn down and ruin my overall team atmosphere and the culture that I'm trying to create, it's gonna be a guy that we might pass on. And it has nothing to do with the kid. It's because the parent is a headache. The parent is handling themselves in the correct way or the proper way in practices, in games. And to be honest with you, we try to be and have a meeting at the beginning of every year with the parents there, almost like a mandatory meeting, because we have a code of guidelines and expectations that we have to kind of hold everyone accountable to, not just the players, not just the coaches, but the parents as well too. But I will say this, because another thing that I'm dealing with, I'm in constant communication with college coaches that are recruiting our kids, and that is one of the quickest and biggest turnoffs that you will see with a college coach. You see Tom Izzo walk into your gym and your dad or your mom on the sideline going crazy and about to get kicked out of the game and yelling at the referees or yelling at the coach during the game. You're sadly mistaken if you think you're gonna go to East Lansing and do the same thing. Just how it is. There's nobody that's there. He got a statue outside the building. He got buildings on campus that are named after him. So if you think that you're gonna be bigger than that show, you're sadly mistaken. And the sad part about it is that I hate to see it from a coach's perspective where the parents ruin opportunities for their kids. So by all means, be supportive, be around, come to the games, cheer your child on, but at the same time, be respectful. Somebody that's sitting next to you who's gonna be one of your kids' teammates as well, and they got somebody out there running around. So, watch what you say. Encourage the team, you know what I mean? Don't discourage, you know what I mean? So.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, if I could really, in full transparency, father of a set of 25-year-old twins, my son, 6'6", long, coming out of high school, all the Catholic schools were looking at him, so forth. He was a Catholic school kid, and he got into said Catholic school, and he was doing well. And my eagerness, what I thought it should be, I began to move him around. And he never played basketball anywhere else in the other two schools that he attended. And when I tell you, I drove myself crazy because I did that, right? And I didn't have anyone to sit down, or I wouldn't listen to anyone that I could sit down with and say, hey man, this kid is 6'5", he's jumping over fences, leave him alone, right? Now luckily, everything turned out all right, y'all don't have to be sad. He finished with his MBA. He's actually coaching on ESPN 2 tonight as an assistant coach at Western Illinois. It turned out well. But what I will tell you is, use some of these examples that you hear. I was chasing my dreams through my son. And quite honestly, I couldn't sleep at night thinking that this was not going to work out for him. But it did. And so if you can, for any reason, some of these stories should really be helpful. I just wanted to share that because they was tied at 30 apiece when I came in here. I'll go again real quick, full Court Press Fireside Chat. This is the student athlete experience. I want you student athletes and parents to think of some questions that you can ask as we go through. It's about engaging in discussion on the multifaceted world of student athletes. I'll start here again at the end. At what point, Toriano, did you start getting ready? I heard your bio, but at what age and what point did you really start understanding I got to take care of my body, I got to take care of my mind, athletics is real. At what point did you start that process?
So I started playing at the age of 5. At the age of 5, it's real, it's child's play, you have to have fun. I actually didn't want to play football. I was terrified on my first day, did not want to go. My dad took me and he said, if you like it, you can come back. If you don't like it, I won't press it, even though he knew he was trying to press it. But I ended up really loving it, and I fell in love with the sport because it allowed me to be myself. I didn't have to feel no type of negativity for being real active, for being want to run around, want to be a kid. That's just who I was. I was a real extroverted child. I always was doing everything. So when I finally decided that I wanted to take it more serious, probably came from that 8th grade to high school. Y'all gonna realize real soon, that every 4 years stuff, that's really when stuff starts to click for you, because that every 4 years is when you get a new change in your life. You're going from grammar school to high school. Fast forward 4 years, you're going from high school to college. And for those who are blessed enough to make it, you're going from college to the league or to some type of overseas or professional team. And what that taught me was change is gonna happen whether you want it to or not. But what that change will be is literally up to you. So once I got to high school, I realized, if I want to get here, I have to keep my body right. I have to be if coach say be at this weight, you need to be at this weight. If coach say you need to eat this instead of eating that, that's all up to you. You all have to do that. You have to want that. You have to literally look at yourself in the mirror. And it sounds real cliche. Sometimes it may even feel very stupid. There was a lot of nights where I would go in the bathroom, I would literally look in the mirror. I would say, why are you doing this? Why are you waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning for a workout? Why are you, sacrificing food that you like to eat? Why are you forcing your body to be this certain way? Why are you going over the extreme to make sure you run this type of speed, to make sure you lift this type of weight, to make sure you can catch a ball? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you doing all this? And then you have to realize your why. And that becomes your mental.
My man.
Once you get that mental, don't let nobody deter you from that. I have to think about it. I'm a father, Lord Jesus. Most importantly, I am a son, and the best role I have right now is that I'm older brother of a lot of. So for me, my mental place, but I call it my why. And I have siblings that look up to me, and I want them to know no matter what your situation is, because you're gonna get dealt a whole bunch of cards, and they're not gonna always be fair. I did it from a D2. The cards were always against me. You know what I'm saying? Despite my high school stats, despite all the great stuff I did, God took me a different way. And it was up to me to prove that way, which, thank God, I did. You know what I'm saying? I still can continue to prove that. But y'all have to realize y'all mental gonna play a lot in what y'all do. Are you gonna wake up and miss your 6 a.m. workout in the morning? Or are you gonna get up and realize that it's 6 a.m. now, but it's whatever you want later? So all that's gonna play into your mental, and when you get it, ain't nothing gonna stop you from going to get it.
Oh man, y'all give it up. I thought you was looking on my paper, you started talking about your why. That's so important, because we know how we do things and we know what we do. But when we're able to explain our why, I think that's what really drives us. And at that age, to be able to explain that and be locked in, man, you got a big future. Proud of you.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Brother Brandon, a father of three boys, yep. Right? Business owner, dean of students, athletic director. Talk about the balance of running a business, raising 3 young men in the city of Chicago, of all places, and then, obviously working every day. How can we help our parents really understand and share some best practices around the balance of it all?
I think so. I've been in the athletic director role for 16 years, and I currently work with all young men. I'm in an all-boys school, and all 3 of my sons went to school for free, played sports. Currently, my youngest son is one of the top linebackers in the country, currently. And I think that as a parent and the AD, it's really not allowing them to be comfortable. Making sure that I hold them accountable. So you can sit here and you can tell me, I want to go to the league, and everybody have these aspirations. You want to go to the league for what? Just so you can make money? You can go to the league and be a coach, or you can be an agent, and there's plenty of roles. But if you're going to the league to be a player, it's a very small percentage of individuals who get opportunity to do that. So if you want to play because you love the sport, then I'm going to hold you accountable. And this is the same thing I tell my students. I'm gonna hold you accountable to putting in the work to get there. You can't get comfortable with being better than your friends. You can't get comfortable with being the best player in the conference, because that absolutely means nothing. It means nothing. There's people across the waters overseas that's out here trying to get those same spots that you're trying to get. So if you say you want to play professional, you want to go D1, you heard what Toriano said. He got up at 6 o'clock. Are you willing to get up at 5 so you can be somewhere and train at 6 o'clock? If you're not, I'm not going to keep pouring all that work into it. I'll put you in a position so that you can learn more about the game and the other avenues, because again, you don't have to be a player to be in the league. You can be an owner. I can teach you how to run a business. You know, I can pour into you in different ways, but I'm going to hold you accountable for the things that you say you want to do. It's a lot of times, you know, my son, he comes home now, and the first thing he says, oh, I'm going to work out. And he has a trainer, so I'll pay for the trainer. But I'm not going to wake him up to go work out. I don't talk to the trainer until he's done. I say, well, how many times did he come while he was here? Oh, he came and saw me 8 times. All right, then I'll pay for it. We don't have the conversation. That's his dream. I can't put my expectations on. If you say that's what you want to do, then you need to get there. You need to make the arrangements. You need to make the phone calls. You need to set your schedule. I tell the high school kids now, you know, Mr. North, can you help me out with a job? What you need a job for? What you trying to do? Seriously, because everybody want to get some money. What is it you're trying to do? Because I can pay you through after school matters to come and work out. I'll set up the jobs. You can come work out and I'll pay you to work out. And surprisingly, kids still don't come. Or they come late.
I'll come.
So, you know, just say again, don't allow them to get comfortable, because a lot of times what kids do is they play pickup games, they don't train, they kill everybody in their conference, oh, I'm the best, you know what I'm saying? They getting all the clout on social media, this, that, and the other. But that's not what you told me you wanted to do. You didn't say you wanted to be the best player at your school. You said you wanted to go to college. You said you wanted to go D1. I tell my students again, I'm not even calling a D1 coach if you're not putting in a D1 effort, because it's going to make me look bad. Because when the coach comes to me and say, hey, what you got for me? And I send him somebody that's not going to get up and get to practice, because I know a lot of schools, D1 schools, they got to work out at 5 o'clock in the morning. If you go down south, they actually practice early in the morning to get away from the sun, because it be too hot. It's too hot in the middle of the day, so they can't practice. So they have a full practice at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not calling that coach if you don't get to school on time. This is gonna make me look bad. I'm gonna save my opportunities and my network for somebody that's really gonna put in that work. So just don't allow your kids to get comfortable if they're serious. You can support them and teach them a ton of other things. I started a clothing business a long time ago. My son is taking it over because he wants to do some and get some more NILs and allow that to be his brand. So we established his own collection, our own Soul Child clothing. We have a college boy collection, and he markets it, college boy, college girl collection. So we market to different colleges when he's going out and getting all these accolades against playing against all these different schools. He plays for HBCU, so he's utilizing that avenue as well. So he got his own little commercials and he's making stuff. So I see he's serious about it. I just buy him products. It's a hit, what you gonna do? So it's a lot of stuff that ways you can support them, but hold them accountable at all times.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, he's a Central State now. One of Central State, one of you.
I'm gonna come to you, Jermaine. He hit on an interesting topic. And before I go any further, guys, before we leave this evening, make sure you scan this QR code, because the feedback is extremely important. It'll be back by the door. But then these programs can continue to be built out if you give some honest feedback, and everybody got a phone, so don't even try it. When Jermaine, when we talked, he said something that was extremely important. He talked about culture and And I'm a firm believer that culture is built off of discipline, right? Right? I don't think no environment thrives where we allow people just to kind of willy-nilly and be super comfortable, right? I don't believe those environments will thrive. As you build out this AFL, there was just a merger, correct? What are you seeing in these athletes, some similar characteristics where you see, yeah, they're at it? What can we share? 3 or 4 characteristics that you see where they're making it, they're keeping after their dream.
Well, I've been coaching for, I'll say, since 2010. I maybe coached, 3 years of high school, 6 or 7 years of college, and I've been coaching professional arena ball for the last 4 or 5 years. And some of the characteristics that you can find when you know a kid got it, let me just rewind it a little bit. When just by me coaching on these different levels, this generation is totally different from our generation. So just a lot of excuses. I'm gonna be truthful, right? It's just a lot of excuses. They cutting corners and they just think it's a show thing, right? Now, when I coach on the high school level, I work with Rich Township High School when I come back from arena football, okay? It's like during the spring from April to like the end of June. So I deal with professional grown men. I mentor college guys, and then I work with high school players. So just from my experience, when I was coming out, I didn't cut no corners. I just bust my butt. I didn't make no excuses. I made a lot of sacrifices, and I could just continue to work hard until the opportunity came for me. And you had to be ready for the opportunity when it comes. That's one thing I'm gonna tell you, you gotta stay ready. Always gotta stay ready, all right? As far as the characteristics of knowing a kid got it, is a kid that you see that works hard. Number one, character, like I was telling you, gotta have character. If you ain't got that, a lot of these coaches gonna run right past you, okay? Make sure your character is intact. Discipline. The discipline in some of the kids that I do see. Just being disciplined and working at your craft. Another one is just self-discipline too. You gotta have the discipline, then your self-discipline. All right, just like he was just saying about the mental, your mindset gotta be ready to go. All right, a lot of people got different struggles, and it's gonna be different roads for everybody. Everybody's road ain't gonna be the same to get where they're trying to go. I tell guys that all the time. So I told you, character, discipline, self-discipline, and they gotta be accountable. Gotta be accountable. If you ain't accountable, I'm pretty much wasting my time. That's like 4 things that I do look at as a coach. And then plus your skill set and all the stuff that, we do with the sports side of things, but on a personal side, that's what I look at.
If we can hand it to Ms. Askew. So he just built an athlete that can breed some success, right? But nowadays I can breed success, and I can now develop and make me some money, right? So he talked about character, accountability, right? What was the discipline? And self-discipline. How does that add up right now in me going out and marketing myself to begin to take care of my family, right? Because I think ultimately, for as much as there's a separation in how hard this generation works, there's some other benefits that I think these student athletes have in a major way. Like I can go real deep, like did we prepare them? Do they know the definition of accountability, right? So I'll stop there. Take that athlete that he just built and build an NIL around that athlete.
That athlete would be attractive to a company. But in addition to that, their stats need to look good, but that's not going to be the be-all, end-all. Whatever company it is, they want you to help build their brand. They're not doing it as a favor to you or just because they want to give someone some money. there has to be a benefit to them. They want you to help them sell more product. And if you have that character, you have that discipline, that is what is going to make you attractive, will garner you more money, and may also very well lead to other marketers wanting to work with you because they see that you are the person that they want. And also, if you exhibit those characteristics, your social media, those numbers may be higher. And again, that's something someone would be looking at. Your positivity. If you're lazy, I'm not going to your social media page. You're lazy. You're a liar, you're negative, you're complaining all the time, but you have good stats. Like, okay, there are 1,000+ athletes in college. I don't have to go with you. I can find someone else who does have that discipline, who is going to get up, who is going to motivate enough people to want them to buy my product and perhaps increase the number sold, which improves my bottom line. So it has to be a win-win for all parties, or it's just not going to work.
Excellent, excellent. Y'all give it up. It's a much needed conversation. Hopefully, as student athletes, as parents, you're kind of milling through, hearing some situations that you've been involved in, engaged in, and you're growing as a result of being in the room tonight. I know we are. It's funny, Brother Jarrell, he walked up and I was getting his name and I was like, you played for Marquette, right? And then I started naming, I said Wesley Matthews, and then he finished it, right? But it's that marketable, noticeable face. He kept himself in shape. So here's the question, right? Because I'll be talking. Here's the question. I'll go back to the Mean Street, right? And your ability to have access to some of the top athletes that want to be a part of your program, right? Outside of you, what are you looking at when you walk in a gym or you and your coaching staff hear about a kid, right? And I'm going to continue to build on that. What is it? Because, right, you got EYBL. Right now, you get on this team, I'm going to showcase you to every college coach across America. That's a prize. What are you looking at? What are 4 or 5 things that you're looking at when you walk in the gym in terms of a student athlete?
I would start with this one, and I'll say coachability. That's a major one. Guys that want to be coached, and this is me speaking from experience as well too. And obviously we got time, so we'll get more into it. But as he alluded to, I played at Marquette from 2005 to 2009. Once I left, I was the all-time leader in points, steals, and most importantly, wins. I finished when I got done at Marquette. I was a Associated Press All-American. So just roughly for you guys who are not familiar with it, that means statistically and as far as our team success, that I was considered probably one of the 10 best players in college basketball my last year. Mm-hmm. But being coachable is a huge part of that. It's a huge part of that. And that's one of the first things that I look at when I walk into a gym. And, sometimes, and I say that, and it kind of sounds like coach speak, but I'm sure some of you guys, y'all got the same background, a ton of coaching experience, athletic director, but that's the separator in a lot of cases. Guys who don't think they got all the answers, and they seeking and searching for that knowledge because they know that that's the doorway and opportunity for them to improve and get better themselves. Your mannerisms, body language. I can't say that enough. And another thing, sound cliche, it means everything. It means everything. And it's not just for coaches, it's for coaches that are gonna be recruiting you for college. I might be coming to see you to recruit you for the EYBL. NBA teams are gonna do the same thing. If you're lucky enough to get to college and be on somebody's draft board going into your last couple of years or after your first year, whatever it may be, they're gonna come to games and they're gonna specifically be there to see you. They're gonna watch every single mannerism that you have. They're gonna see how you interact with your teammates, the way that you respond to your coaches. All of those things are huge things. And I'll wrap it up with this last one, and it's just guys that want to be better, guys that want to get better. I've been fortunate enough, and I graduated from Hillcrest High School, probably 25 minutes south of here. One of the things that I did when I was coming out of high school, and I was, and it's not to sell myself short, but I wasn't the most highly talented player coming out of high school either. I was probably arguably top 2 player in the state of Illinois. An All-American. I played in the round ball classic game. I was a parade All-American, all of that stuff too. Nationally, I was probably in the 50 to 60 range nationally for my ranking. And the difference between me and I would say 50 to 60% of the other guys ahead of me was the fact that I didn't think I had all the answers. I constantly knew and I understood the dynamics of this, because before you know it or not, you're watching stuff on TV, you're paying attention to stuff, but you're also studying. You're studying. And I didn't realize that until I got older. I was studying on how to handle myself. I'm watching all these post-game interviews. You watch it for entertainment, but at the same time, if you really want that to be you, you're making mental notes. You're seeing how to properly handle yourself. All of those type of things as well, too. So the difference between me and them was the fact that I didn't have all the answers and I wanted to get better. I love the game. So, and I was open to anybody I felt like could get me in position to do that. So as years went on and you continue to develop, guys fall by the wayside and you see guys that were, he was at 69 and they start to rise up. So those are just a handful of things that I can think of.
That's excellent. Y'all give him a hand. Excellent conversation, but now it's your turn, right? One of the things I want you guys to be mindful of, I love the technology, right? I think there are a ton of benefits, but I think in some instances it takes us away from like really being realistic about who we are and what we're on. And if you've heard anything tonight, it's about really you, getting into you and understanding who you are. And don't let nobody outside, right? Because if I do this again, everybody gonna put their fist on their cheek. But what I will tell you is stay locked into you and your goals. Before we wrap, we do want to take a few questions. And I know there are a ton of burning questions. There are no dumb questions. If you're thinking it, somebody else needs to hear it. All right, so what brave soul of you students has the first question? That's what's up. What's your name? Just say your name. Stand up for me. Make sure everybody can hear you.
My name is Shanna Coleman. Appreciate you. My name is Shanna Coleman. I had a question for the people on the panel. I wanted to know how do you guys feel about student athletes having a business sense of the word that they're getting into? Because I know it's a lot of students that they go in, not students, a lot of athletes that they go in just focus on the sport. How do y'all feel about people introducing them to the business side and the money side of their sport and other things that they can venture in?
I encourage it, going into it with some humility though. You know, go in knowing that it's still other things that you have to learn, because it's going to be deals, it's going to be opportunities that you might have to step away from because it's not the right thing for you in that moment, and be able to utilize your skill set to open up other doors. I don't know if you heard the interview with LeBron James where, you know, they told him Adidas wanted to give him, you know, he was still in the project, still in high school. They put $10 million on the table. Now, mind you, he's in high school, broke, living in the projects. They put $10 million on the table and told him, hey, you can take this now, just don't go talk to Nike or anybody else.
Big about that.
Now, if you eating ramen noodles that, you know what I'm saying, on a daily basis, somebody give you $10 million, it's hard to walk away from. But he knew his value. And he said, if you're willing to give me 10, somebody else might give you 30. You know what I'm saying? So be humble, be willing to learn, go into it. Everything you do is about business. Go into it and say, hey, if I just improve this aspect of my game, if I stay in school one more year, I'll have some other value to add to it. And then my long-term value will mean a lot more. And you can get a lot more out of it.
Excellent. I don't know who turned it down. No $10 million.
You tell him what he got. Look what he got now. He turned down. He got $1 billion.
I have a question for Toriana. Can you talk to the athletes and the parents about your scouting experience, and can you give some advice, like what you learned, what you know now that you didn't know then, to the athletes about going through that process and what that's like? Because they'll be entering college soon. So what does that look like? And if you could do it over, what would you do differently? And some words of advice to these athletes and to the parents.
So that's literally something I talk to myself about every day. Like every day I think about that. I was always taught growing up, you put in the work, it'll pay off. And something he actually just said, go into the business. Like once you get to college, it is a business. Have fun, enjoy it, but it's a business. And that's something at the time I did not know. Going into high school, that's something I did not know that I should have been. I was building my resume with my stats, but I wasn't building my resume with my intelligence, what I was going into. I was out there playing football. And although that's what I was supposed to be doing, a part of me now feels like at the time, I should have been putting myself out there a little bit more. I should have been, you know, I'm not like Stone age, but like I'm not like y'all age. You know what I'm saying? I had the technology, not as much technology as y'all did, so I wasn't as heavy as putting down footwork drills on Instagram and putting down, you know, me running the ball, stuff like that. So it wasn't that heavy for me, but that's stuff that I should have been doing. I should have been building that resume, because although I had the stats, I had to leave my connections to my coach. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you want to be in control of your own future. So my coach, he was the one who, you know, I got schools coming in here to see me, but they going through him. They have no clue who I am. They can't go to my Instagram and see like my drills or anything like that. So you know what I'm saying? I went to St. Lawrence, all Catholic, all boys school at the time. And like I said, I had a great experience playing football there, but I feel like I was still really naive because I was young. Which is why I think NIL is crazy for high schoolers. But, because I know I probably wouldn't do the smartest things with it. But, like you said, go into it being humble with some humility. Go into it knowing that you don't know it all, man. That you probably will never know it all, but you're willing to keep learning until you do. As far as college, that's all business. Everything you do is a business for college. You may think you just missing the workout, yeah, you really just got knocked down to you on the bench. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a really high chance that you making it to the leagues without any fail. You know what I'm saying? So something that I would take to do different was be humble enough to know that there is a business side of it, and you should absolutely take the time out to learn it because it's so important. Being a great athlete is one thing, or if you could blend the two together, and you'll be unstoppable. You'll be demolishing them in all fields, on the field and off the field.
So following up on that and your question, business is important. So as you're looking at these agreements and working with coaches, et cetera, the colleges generally do have resources that you can use. They want to help you, and they'll have resources for finance, economics, budgeting, etc. So I would say take advantage of that, because states with NIL and here in Illinois, that's what they encourage. They want you to be able to look at these agreements, manage that money, and just not take it and squander it. You need to look at this long term, and as you said, It's a business. It's not a hobby, it's a business.
I'm gonna come to you, young lady. It's a crowded field. I was reading something the other day, and I'm gonna ask you to put this in order for me. 4 ways that you can be recruited, as we talk about recruitment, and I want you to put it in the order in which you think it will happen in today's world. High school, JUCO, prep school, or the transfer portal. Now, I want you to start with those 4 ways of recruitment. What do you think is the top way that colleges are now recruiting?
Well, I worked for a prep school for like 5-6 years too. So I know all about that and recruiting. And I worked at a prep school called Midwestern Preparatory Academy that was out in Orland Park. Me and maybe 5 former NFL players started it back in 2014. So I had to recruit guys off an NCSA site. So my whole goal was to try to reach out to 100 kids to try to bring in maybe 10 kids that their families could afford to pay like maybe 10 grand, 10K plus.
So you saying prep school is the #1 way you think right now that they're recruiting?
I'm not gonna say that. I would say now you saying as far as bringing a kid from high school.
Saying what's the line of order, I think he's saying.
What's the line of order
in
terms of which way colleges are recruiting now?
I'll say this for sure, just on the basketball side, and then I'll jump. Transfer portal is #1.
Yeah, that's #1.
It's #1.
That's #1. I would say the prep school probably would be #2 because they have they have 5 years of eligibility.
What's #3?
What was the other 2 you named?
JUCO and high school. High school.
Well, there ain't too many JUCOs in Illinois, but colleges to pay, so that'll be at the bottom. And in high school. So,
I said that to say this. The order in which, statistically, our friendly internet put it is that colleges are first going to the transfer portal. They're then going to the prep schools where that student took an extra year. They're then going to the JUCOs where they know they have seasoned players who have gone through it. And then they're going to the high schools. And so as you think about this process and you listen to the discipline that it takes, right? That high school pool is getting a little bit smaller year after year with this transfer portal thing going on. You gotta step it up. You hear about 5 a.m. workouts and being disciplined and really understanding who you are. And so I want you to keep that in mind. It's not a scare tactic. It's not impossible, but you have to be not better than your block, not better than your school, not better than your city, better than maybe the Midwest coming out of high school these days. And then we're gonna take a couple of more questions.
Hello, I'm Cheyenne, and my aspirations to be either an agent or an attorney. And my question to the panel is, what has been the most eye-opening experience of your career?
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Right, most eye-opening. I would say probably as a Black woman being underestimated and not being respected. So coming to the table and someone thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about and I won't have the information and they can out-negotiate me is a problem. As I was telling someone else, as a corporate attorney, my job is to keep you out of court. And because I negotiate on the front end, to date, fingers crossed, I have not had one of my clients or an agreement end up in litigation. So if I wasn't doing my job, someone would get sued or there would be someone in court. But because I've been underestimated, it can work to my advantage because just now you can look at my notebook and everything. I am going to do all the research and I am going to have as many answers as you are, but I'm also not going to let you be disrespectful to me. I will say maybe in the past month or so, there were 2 men that decided they wanted to yell on the phone. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. The deal got done, and I literally told them, what you're not going to do is yell on the phone. If you think you need to raise your voice to make your point, hang up and call me back. And then we can continue to negotiate from there. So again, that's what's been the hardest for me as a corporate attorney. And in sports also, because, I don't want to take all the time, but because I am a woman. Initially, I worked with USA Basketball, and it would be, oh, you're here because you want to date one of the players. You want to have a baby with one of the players. My retort would be, you didn't play sports in college either. Why are you here? So you just have to flip it on them, and you have to be confident in yourself. No, literally, because they were like, I don't understand why you went to law school and why you want to be a sports attorney. The same reason you want to be in the sport. So these are just Michelle issues, attorney issues that I've had to deal with.
Give it up for Michelle Isms. The isms of Michelle. No, that was powerful. That was powerful. You got to stand on yours is what I heard, right? Yep, that education and that know-how is the great separator, right? Our work folk. Here we go.
And this question is to Jarrell and Tori. Can you give the student athletes an example of a kid in college that was super talented, had all the tools, but he didn't have his life together? And he didn't make it as far as you, but that's the reality. A lot of kids don't understand that. You get to college, and you're super good, everyone's always chased behind you, and then you get off track. Can you give the boys an example of a situation like that?
Y'all kind of shit. Okay. Y'all gonna tell on one of y'all boys.
No, just don't have to be specific.
It ain't gotta be a name.
Just talking to the reality.
Yeah, so I've always kind of separated myself. I've had friends in areas that I probably should not have had friends in, but one thing I never did was allow myself to get caught up with what they had going on. And eventually, once you find out what you got to do, you're going to separate yourself. It has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with loyalty. But just as you're loyal to that person, they have to also be loyal to you. If y'all blending y'all lives together, what you do can affect me, and what I do can affect you. And eventually, you're going to be smart enough to realize you're not affecting me in the right way no more. I've had friends in high school and college who we all come from different backgrounds, but your background does not have to identify your future. But for some of them, they let it. Cool. And I'm not gonna pinpoint anybody because I got a few I can name. But they are so caught up in only what they have and what they're used to that they wasn't smart enough to realize what they could have and where they can move on to. So for all of my guys, a lot of guys in high school, you're gonna meet a lot of guys in high school that you're gonna be like, oh, this boy or even this girl is a baller, like complete baller. I think someone who was a baller was the guy who held the rushing record at my school before me. I played with him grammar school all the way up to high school. He was a year older. And I'm not gonna say he let his lifestyle kind of, bleed into his reality, but that kid can go, man. He was agile, he had the speed, but I feel like his background kind of got to him a little bit, to where, it was hard for him to complete assignments in school. Yeah. And it was hard for him to kind of balance the athletic life with his social life and with his academic life. And because of that, he fell short. And he was a great kid. Anybody who knows the kid knows he was a baller. There's no reason why he should not have gone farther. Now, he is doing good in life right now. He's doing good. We still communicate, and we still chop it up through social media. But that was one kid who I was really upset because I looked up for him. I considered him a rival for so long. It was almost like a letdown. He didn't make it to where I knew he could have made it to. And a lot of my other guys who I played ball with, there's so many of us that should have went on to college to play. And it was kind of disappointing that a lot of them gave up on that, or they got sidetracked by it. Which is why one of the main things I tell freshmen as an upperclassman when I was at the University of Indianapolis don't forget why you're here. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna distract you. For the girls, as guys, don't let them distract you, because we will. Guys, don't let them girls distract you, because they will. You know what I'm saying? Don't let all the partying, don't let, freedom from your parents, don't let that stuff distract you, because you're there for a reason. And y'all could very much be one of them kids who was meant to go to that level, but y'all would let something sidetrack y'all. And sometimes you get sidetracked and you can't recover from it.
And it's so quick.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
I was blessed enough to have a very supportive family. I never felt the need to be in situations that I felt was going to hurt me in any type of situation. And that's hard because you lose friends. People gonna talk about you because you're not doing what society wants you to do. But those are also the people who regret that years later, who get sidetracked and you can't recover from it, and it happens so fast. Everything y'all like from about your junior year to adulthood will happen so fast. It's happening to me so fast. Everything continues to change. Stand on your morals, stand on the teaching of your parents, but also have your own ideals and your own mindset as well.
I hope my son be on the panel and talk like this.
I'm really goofy for real, y'all.
He did a really good job of covering all of that. So just to kind of piggyback off of his point, and y'all stay with me here a little bit, because there's a couple things I want to say just about some other questions. We had some really good questions, and this is just how my mind works. I got a bit of a chaotic mind, so I'm gonna jump around a little bit, but stay with me. But just piggybacking immediately off the question that George had, and everything that he just said, the word that stuck out for me was just discipline. And we done said it a lot already tonight. Mm-hmm. If you really want to do this and you want to take it far and do it at the highest level, that might be D1, D2, it might be being a professional, whatever it may be, discipline is gonna set you apart. And it's just that simple. Your life is gonna take on a complete different direction than the people around you in most cases. And like he said, if you got real friends, they respect that. When I was coming up, I had fun, I had close friends, but it was always that respect factor where it was almost even in a case where they were protective of me. Mm-hmm. That's real friends. Like, we at this party, we out late and it's about to get sketchy, you need to get up out of here now, bro. Mm-hmm. It may be something that simple, you know what I mean? But just discipline, man. Discipline, protect yourselves and keep the main thing the main thing. I did want to jump around first to the numerical thing, because I would be remiss if I didn't say this part of it with the transfer portal and stuff. And I'll say this to any of the young hoopers out there. The combination of the transfer portal and the NIL, and we got a great person here to kind of speak to that as well too. So the dynamics of the college game have changed. They have changed. So these are just two things that I had on my mind when he kind of went through that. Transfer portal is definitely number one. The reason it's number one kind of lead into one of the other questions as well too. Think about it like this. When you in high school, your high school basketball coach is usually your gym or your English teacher, right? That ends once you go to college. So when y'all hear him saying it's a business, every aspect of that. Your head coach in college is on campus to coach whatever sport you are playing. He don't got a side job. His job is to coach basketball. He's not like, oh man, we lost the game, I gotta go teach fifth period. Nah, it's a different dynamic, seriously, and they have families tied to that. Mm-hmm. So their livelihoods are on the line. So what does that mean? It's about results. It's a results-laden business. If you can help them keep their job or elevate and get more of a job, they're gonna love you. If you can't help them, you're not gonna be there. Mm-mm. You're gonna be out the door. And I mean that genuinely. I'm saying it to educate more than I am to try to scare anybody here. And just kind of leading in off of that as well too, high school guys here, the dynamic of recruiting have changed with that as well. If you get an offer, strongly consider it. Yeah. Strongly consider, and I say this all the time, and I say it because I'm dealing with it every day around the clock, nonstop. I'm a high school coach as well too. I still go back and I coach at my old high school at Hillcrest, so I'm seeing all sides of it. I got 5-star guys that we've had in our program, which is, we may get one every couple years, 2 if you lucky. A ton of 4-star guys and a whole lot of 3-star guys. And I tell you this, it's so crazy now, and the transfer portal is so pivotal, and it's so many people trying to look to grab players out of there first. It's coaches that don't look to high school players. If you're taking over a new job as a new coach and you're trying to rebuild a program,
You're going right to the portal.
young guys get you beat. That's how coaches look at it, because it's a learning curve. I might get fired in 2 years if we don't win some games. I don't got time to bring him along and pull him by his collar for 2 years and try to teach him and show him. Now, if he a 5-star guy, that changes, because he might be able to help me right away. If it's a 3-star guy, I honestly can tell you, you don't know what you're gonna get from high major, mid major, low major, D2. And I'm dead serious about it. There's some really good guys out here who don't get opportunities that years past that they would get because of the dynamic of the transfer portal. So I just wanted to hit on that as well. And the last thing I'll say, and I'll shut up and leave y'all alone for the rest of the night, I promise. Just in terms of NIL, because I'm dealing with that as well too. Obviously, I'm not an expert on the field. We got one here, but listen to me and listen to me clearly. NIL is a great saying, and it seems really impactful. And we're doing a lot of talking about it up here, but I want all the young guys especially, and even the parents, to understand that NIL is a bit of an illusion right now. 98% of these athletes that are going off to college aren't getting NIL deals. I can give you a handful and tell you the ones that are really getting name, image, likeness money. Angel Reese, she's probably one of the top earners. Caitlin Clark.
This basketball girl.
Caleb Williams. Shadua Sanders got a ton of stuff. Bronny is the big one, and he don't even play. He don't play like that. Seriously, I'm serious, but he don't play a whole lot in college because at the end of the day, that coach's job is on the line. So that's going back to the other point. And I say like Zach Eady, the big fella. He's a Canadian. He got a ton of ties. He got some stuff like that. Everybody else, get familiar with this term. That's name, image, likeness. That's people that are gonna pay you from a different brand or a different entity for you to promote their brand and try to generate more interest and income coming into their brand or whatever it is they're selling. College athletes, the biggest thing that you need to focus on going into that is you need to be educated on the collective side of that as well too for the universities. That's where the majority of guys, for sure in basketball and in football, are making their money. These universities are putting together collectives, and for the people that don't know what it is exactly, I may botch the complete exact definition of it, but essentially what it is you got a ton of donors that come from a school. Let's use boosters. Yeah.
Alumni.
They're usually alumni of the school. They come through the program. They love sports, whatever it is. And what they end up doing is they ended up all shelving out. They're usually ultra successful. Most of them are millionaires. Some are billionaires. And what they do is they all come together and they put their money in the pot. So you think of it almost like you got like a salary cap in pro sports. So depending on what school you're at, first of all, because all pockets aren't as deep. You go down to Texas A&M, they got oil money. They got unlimited resources when it comes to NIL. That's why they had the #1 recruiting class, not this last year, but the year before. And guess what? They fired the coach still, because all those young guys that they recruited that was 5-stars, they wasn't ready right away and they couldn't win games. So collective, that's where the money is. If you're in a position, and to be honest with you, most of you probably won't be in that position where you're gonna be making a lot of money coming into it. A lot of this stuff is kind of incentivized by your performance. You become a national name, a national player, All-American, a guy who just is constantly killing 20 and 10, you'll get some NIL. That's when the money starts coming. When you initially go off to college, the money is gonna be coming from a contractual agreement that you have with the collective for whatever university that you are at. And that is gonna be determined based on where you are, what caliber recruit you are, or what you've done. So.
Appreciate you. I know we had a couple of more questions, but we are. Okay.
Hi, my name is Howard. It's kind of a question about the parents. I feel like you guys said about the screening of the games and stuff like, and I understand that point, but pushing your son or daughter when you feel like he has the ability or he's getting overlooked, what would you say to that point? 'Cause it happened to me when I was in high school. They wanted me to wait till I was a senior to start. They wanted me to wait, and I didn't want to wait. I transferred. I knew I was better than the guy in front of me. So when you say parents that do that, and I talked to a couple coaches today about that, and they would say it's crazy, like a lot of kids are transferring in high school. But I understand the reason why they're leaving programs, going to other programs, because of the opportunity might be better or they perceive it. My next question is, a lot of our players are leaving the state of Illinois to go other places and play. Why do you think that is, and why do they get received so well when they go other places to play?
Great question. If I could, really quickly, and I'll pass that on, as a father of someone who thought that way, right? A former Division II athlete, pretty good. As a father of someone who thought that way, what I had to realize and be reflective on, and maybe someone else will have a different take on it, but I had to go back old school, right? And it was about earning your keep. Coaches don't not play kids that help them win. And that's what I had to realize. Coaches play kids that help them win. Now, when it becomes this likability thing, I think that shows itself. I think if it's just a thing where they don't like your kid, or it's probably not your kid, I realize it was me, right? Let me just be real with you. It wasn't my kid they didn't like, it was me. And so when I came to the realization that it didn't have anything, and this is just me sharing, I don't know if this is your situation. When it came to being reflective and real transparent about where we were in that situation, I own that, right? Because my kid come home whining, and as a former athlete, I know that ain't right for me to buy into that. I knew that wasn't right for me to buy into. He not playing me because he don't work harder. Because if you working, you will play. If you can help him win, you are going to play. And so you was talking, and I was getting flashbacks, right? And by the way, Western won tonight. They going to the NCAA tournament. As long as we continue to drive, and I think the young man spoke to it eloquently, the upbringing, what his parents instilled in him. As long as you continue to drive, whether he's playing or not, he's winning. He's winning because he's learning about adversity. And he's learning about how you're not always going to be the one out there getting 25, 30 minutes a game. He's winning because he's beating all the starters in sprints, and he's making them work harder, so the game is being easier for them. He's winning in different ways is what I realized that I taught my kid. And so if I could share anything with you, it's you grind down more and share and be more, share more discipline around what this entire process, how it's bigger than just right now what you're doing. That's what I would share. I'm sorry, that was close to me. Anyone else?
Chris, just one thing that I wanted to add was that it takes more than talent or ability to be successful. So continue to build up the intangibles, whether it's the work ethic, whether it's, the timeliness, the sportsmanship, whatever. Build up those intangibles, and that will separate and put them apart. I always tell my son, it's gonna be real quick. Draymond Green was trash in college.
Trash.
If you look at his stats, he is trash. He might have averaged like 2 points, 4 rebounds. Seriously, look it up, Google it. In the league, he's one of the most valuable players to that team. And he put himself in the right position because he knew exactly what he had to contribute to make that team successful. Know what you have to contribute to make your team successful, to make yourself successful beyond the game, because it will translate on the court, on the field, or whatever.
It will. Thank you so much. Hey, guys, real quick, thank you all so much. For Court Press Fireside Chat, the student-athlete experience where we engaged in discussion on the multifaceted world of student-athletes on behalf of Jermaine Hampton, Jarrell McNeil, Brandon Lenore, Toriano Clinton, and Miss Michelle Askew. My name is Kiss Allen, and always imparting, fly low, avoid the radar. No matter what happens when they come for the car, save the radio. Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful evening.